Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of Vampire the Masquerade Beyond Armageddon. Before we begin, I'd like to make a few announcements. First, we are proud to announce that Sabbat the Schism is officially out now. Not only does it delve into the history and lore of the sect, it opens up multiple role-playing options for fans of the game, including new playable clans, elder level powers, and much more. You can find your own copy of Sabbat the Schism in the link below. Second, I'd like to thank RS Experiments, aka Mark, our local musical talent, for graciously providing the custom music you've been enjoying so far, including our awesome main theme song called Haven Dweller. If you enjoy any of the music used during the stream and you'd like to hear more, you can find a full library of Mark's work by clicking the link below to RS Experiments' SoundCloud page. Lastly, if you enjoy tonight's session and you'd like to see more, be sure to follow both our channels. You can catch us live most Sundays at 7 p.m. CET by tuning in to twitch.tv/RSAGames, or check out all our recorded sessions at RSA Games on YouTube. Links below. Remember to like, subscribe, and be sure to leave us feedback and suggestions in the comments below. We hope you enjoy the session, and without further ado, let us delve into the world of darkness in tonight's episode of Vampire the Masquerade Beyond Armageddon. Welcome back. So, we rejoin Serena as she searches the basement and spots one of Cecil's discarded creations, or at least one of the experiments that remained behind right before his death. She can tell that he's not on the table. He's quite a ways off from the table, and she can trace traces of blood all over the floor, which, piecing together the situation, probably the subject woke up, tried to crawl away, and eventually got eaten by rats before he could make it.
She takes the body, drags it to the sewer entrance,
Mm-hmm.
then goes back to the bedroom. In the meanwhile, she tells Larry and Jim that they can basically ask Jack or like whatever else they themselves need to grab it from here while she does something in the bedroom. And then she goes into the bedroom and stares for a long while at the bed with the earth.
And the soil's still in it. And you stare for quite a bit. The indent of Cecil's body is still there, even after all this time. Though it seems a bit less full than you remember.
What?
a bit less full. The mattress seems less full than you remember.
Mm. Well, either way, she opens it
Mm-hmm.
and she starts gathering the earth.
Yep. And as you open it and begin gathering it, you notice that there's like significantly less soil than there was when you were here with him. You remember laying on this mattress and feeling, essentially, if you sunk your hand into the soil, it would reach about here. Um, you remember that feeling, how much you could sink into it, how it felt when he was laying there. Now, it's basically this much.
You think this way, cause
There is no response.
I don't know. Can you reach him? Because I think that you would. Like they can't fucking counter that. So if you can't, I'm pretty sure they're just trying to make it look like they have him. Either way. And she starts basically gathering it into like a box
Mm-hmm.
for herself. Either way. Be staying there. We'll be staying anywhere where I didn't go.
Um, you gather the soil into a box, and it takes you quite a while. And as you do so, we check on Larry and Jim. What are the two of you doing?
I will go up to Jack's room and check if the cane is still there.
The cane.
The one that we acquired from the Delmont.
Mhm. You check, it is not.
Do I happen to know if Jack took it?
Well, Jack was researching it, so it's entirely possible he took it also.
He did say in the beginning of the night that it's at Freya's.
I suddenly recall that he did say in the beginning of the night it's at Freya's, so I'll call him up.
Mm-hmm. Jack,
Hey.
your phone rings.
Do you
Hey,
need anything?
you won't be able to pull all the books. Just
Maybe the most crucial ones.
these I took with me, but or I'll give him like description of a couple of books that are more important right now.
I'll go grab them.
How's Serena?
Better, I guess. Don't know. She's at the basement. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to actually can we make this a video call?
I'm not really sure how it will work with me, but yeah.
Just so you could check if some things have been fucked around here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Don't really expect to see my mug. You know, no reflection and shit.
So you turn on the camera feed. Jack, from you, everything Seems normal. Larry, as soon as you look at the camera feed from Jack's phone, it's not that you don't see Jack at all, is that the camera constantly looks like it's glitching out violently. Like there's something breaking the footage constantly. It flashes, it cuts, it breaks. It's impossible to make out what you see there, apart from a very like a pitch black silhouette.
Yep. As I was expecting.
Okay, so how do I do that shit?
There's like a button, like 2 half circles with arrows.
Oh,
Yeah, you click it, and Jack, you see the room that
Mhm.
you spent most of your time in. And roll me a quick int. Actually, a quick perception investigation, please.
I should eventually learn to fucking investigate. I'll spend willpower. Careful
Mhm.
applies.
It does.
That makes it.
Okay.
At least one.
You got 3. It's fine. So after a few moments of looking to, the books that you couldn't really manage to take with you the first time, the, the small office area you created for yourself, most of it is untouched until the camera pans to, a pile of books that you did leave behind. It was the books you sifted through and picked the most important ones. That pile that was there definitely has been rearranged somehow. Like it moved, and the books are no longer in the same order as they were.
Do I sense like a message in this order, or it's more like just they were moved?
Seems like they were moved, and you search. You do have a merit that helps you with this. You search your memories, and you can tell that there are a couple of books missing.
Someone took a few.
where I can pan closer.
This pile on the table.
Yep.
Do I remember
sort
which?
of rearrange
Do I
them
recognize which books
all.
were taken?
2 volumes. One that you used quite frequently when dealing with the other side, the Shadowlands. Not because it has information about the Shadowlands, but because it's essentially a study of the connection between our world and the world beyond. How that veil can be pierced, how you can, create interactions with it. That book is gone. And another one is also missing. This one, more oriented towards rituals of uh, binding. So used it more to get some good practice in dominate. Let's say that. So this dealt with, you know, either folklore, modern day, traditional, a bunch of beliefs and rituals that relate to controlling someone else's will and fate.
That's 2 interesting fucking books. Is Jim there?
I can call him. Why?
Ask him if he can read auras, and if he can, he should definitely read auras on the pile of books, because one of the books is about binding something or someone to your will, and the other is on piercing the veil.
Jim!
Sorry.
I'm here! You hear me calling you from upstairs?
And Jim follows the voice.
Yep. As you follow the voice, you go through the corridors and eventually you reach the room where you can find Larry just awkwardly holding a phone that in his hands looks incredibly tiny. As he, points it to a table and looks to the doorway, very frustrated.
So what's it all about?
Ask Jack. I didn't understand the shit he said. I'll give the phone.
I put the phone on the speaker so everyone could hear.
That's a
Jack?
video feed. Hello. Do you happen to be able to read auras of objects and
Yes.
traces? Not like humans or shit, like more advanced aspects.
Well, it's not like if you call it reading. Imagine that you basically feel whatever the owner of or previous owner of whoever hold it felt when they touched this object or something like this.
So if you can, that's good. There's a pile of books on the table. Can you check them because someone stole 2 fucking books? Lara, meanwhile, go to Serena and tell her which books were stolen.
Jim will try using Spirit's touch on the books.
All right. You may roll for it.
Mhm. Perception empathy.
I believe so, yes.
Empathy.
I can double check for you if you'd like.
I'm checking.
I'll check for him.
Mhm.
Fucking hell.
6 successes. If need to check difficulty. Sorry.
All good.
Yeah. Difficulty is probably up to ST.
It depends on the object and the connection they have with the person, but this is plenty, so.
Yeah, perception empathy.
What object are you touching specifically?
That's the book that Jack mentioned.
Okay, well, you run your hand through the pile of books and
That
eventually
book is missing. That book is missing.
Yes, I'm assuming he meant
someone touched the pile.
the pile of books.
Mhm.
So you run your hand through the books and eventually rest it on the top one and decide to read that one. You focus, and the first thing that you sense from it is a ravenous desire for knowledge and power. Just an unsatiable hunger for it, as if not just your entire existence depended on it, but the quality of that existence. You can see flashes of Jack's face in your mind. And as you begin to search for what might have occurred around this object, you eventually sense that there is a faint connection, very, very faint, to someone who very briefly brushed the book aside While you don't see their face, you see sort of their demeanor, their body language, some aspects from them. And it's no one you recognize. It's this. It's really hard to tell what it is. It's a presence far larger than you could ever expect, really. Notably, you've never actually seen anything like this, even when you've used this power before.
Interesting. Well, Jack, what I can tell that whoever read these books was, let's say, more of a very obsessed scholar type of who wanted
That
to
was me.
find something desperately.
Scholar type is
He
me.
tried to desperately find something that would solve the issues of a grand scheme. But whoever touched those books, it's a very strong presence. But I don't realize the silhouette. I don't can't identify the silhouettes.
Doesn't really ring a bell. Like, the scholar type is me.
Well, your face did flash like for a millisecond, but there were also other figures.
Can you also check one wall from me in my bedroom? I guide him towards the wall where I hid the locket of Liliana.
Mm-hmm. So, Jim, you're essentially guided through the bedroom, and eventually you find this wall where, checking basically the corner just under the window, you find sort of a hole in the wall. And reaching inside, you find a locket.
No, I took the locket. So
Oh, you took the locket. Okay. Apologies.
if someone just decided to fuck with me
Mm-hmm.
and put something in there,
Well, you reach inside, and nothing.
Oh, there's nothing.
that's good.
Can I help you with anything else?
Just ask Serena to double check the books. Maybe she recognizes the presence.
I'll go check her in the basement.
Yep.
All right. As Jim, as you begin heading downstairs, you see Larry waiting at the door to the bedroom that Serena and Cecil occupied previously. As he waits for Serena to finish, essentially using her hand to shovel soil into a box. And as the last bit of soil is passed, Serena seems to sort of, yeah. You can roleplay.
Yeah. So, as the last bit of soil is passed, Serena looks at it. She's not saying anything, but she looks weird. Then she looks to the bed, looks to the table. Then she starts rummaging. So I'm looking for Mariposa's papers.
Mm-hmm.
Found them?
You can roll a quick perception investigation.
Why? I would
Or
know
wits
where Cecil.
investigation.
I would know where Cecil has them.
Yeah, and you got most of them out. I'm assuming that you're looking for the ones you didn't know where they were, because I doubt you'd leave them behind.
Okay, yeah, fine. I'm basically looking for anything out of place, and wits and investigation makes sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 successes.
Well, you do see the smudges of blood from the subject. And at first
Sad.
you think, eh, that's just the guy who escaped. After a bit, though, you realize that one of the smudges sort of seems off. Most of them are sort of in one direction, as if he dragged himself away from the table. But it seems that one of the smudges is sort of covered by a corner of something. As if the smudge was made on top of something, and then that something was removed. Hard to tell what it was, though. But that's the only real thing that has changed.
Well, a corner would be like a paper. Well, then she basically goes to the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna use Spirit Touch on the door handle. Because she wouldn't use it on a bed, because she knows exactly what she's gonna see there. It's not going to be like, anything. Stop it, you guys. She's not going to see anybody stealing ground or anything like that, because it's going to be overwritten by, cuddling in bed and all the drama and also her own depressive feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But the door handle, she knows damn well that both her and Cecil are pretty, apathetic about the door handle opening the door to their bedroom or back. That it wouldn't matter, but somebody who would be sneaking around when they shouldn't be there, now that's a whole other situation. So she's going to basically use Spirit's Touch on the door handle. Pim, 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 and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 successes.
Okay. So you brush your hand against the door handle, and you lightly grip it and focus. Strongest emotion that immediately crosses your mind is the emotion of outrage as someone essentially bursts the door open. Outrage, grief, that's the main sentiment that you get from it. You see multiple flashes. Some of your face, some of Cecil's, some of Jack's, some of Abel's, some of Jim's, a few of Larry's, and very, very faint flashes of Titus. And you continue focusing on it, and you feel this brief contact with something. Something that brushed only lightly against it. And when you try to chase that thought down, it's sort of incomprehensible, like looking at a visible nothing.
Serena basically, she probably wouldn't have gathered it on the first night so quickly. She takes the map.
Mm-hmm. You roll up the map.
And it's like a big map, world map. And she looks for Cecil.
Mm-hmm. So you begin a search. So you may roll. This will take some time.
I just need
I know. It's a 5-minute thing. It doesn't take too long, but it does take some time. In the meantime, Larry and Jim, what are the two of you doing?
Free and free.
Well, as I'm still holding Jack on the call, as he instructed, I'm going to meet Serena in hope that she could help solve the mystery of the books, whoever touched them.
Jack?
Serena, do you have a moment?
I'm in the midst of divination,
That's
but
perfectly.
you can speak.
Someone stole 2 of my books. One of them
What
on
were
Crystal
they?
Veil, and one of them on Binding Something to Your Will in my study.
I see.
And Jim doesn't seem to recognize the aura
I'll.
thingy.
I mean, we still have to deal with see. Oh, Larry, maybe that's something you can do for now, since you can travel through the walls. Can you check the sewers if there's any if the washed is alive? Don't approach it close, just basically, scout the area. You can always sink into the walls, just, see if it's around. Because given today's meetings, I would not like to stay here longer than necessary.
I'll take a peek down the poop drain that is used as blood drain in Cecil's presence. What?
Not down that drain. There's a sewer exit.
Where?
If you go out of the
Down the
bedroom,
basement.
down the hallway, there's a sewer exit.
Ah, that one.
Yeah, that one. Because the wash was usually around that area, so confirm whether it's alive or dead. And if you find it alive, don't approach it. Just like
Yeah, I
make
figured.
yeah. As for you, Jim.
Okay.
Thank you, Larry. As for you, Jim, keep whatever you saw fresh in your mind. I'll take a peek into your mind afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It will be quicker.
And
And
as you say this and return your focus, you eventually reach the point where you're fairly certain you should have gotten something. And there's nothing.
I've basically scouted the. This is basically a planet map, so there's nothing. And there's not even this shadow, basically when there was Kian or Ruark with their Shadowlands whole thing, it was
Well,
you know,
when that was the case, it's more like you got a feedback, like someone didn't
yeah, I
want you
got
to
the
find
feedback.
them.
Yeah, but I
When
don't get that.
when someone goes to the Shadowlands, in your experience, you just don't get anything. Unless they're trying to actively disrupt your interference.
There's another circle over the, over the thing, and then folds a map and folds a bunch of other ones and puts them on top of the ground in the box that she gathered. Right, Jim. I'm going to enter your mind, and I'm going to look for what you saw in the spirits, with the spirit's touch. Okay?
Go on.
So,
Yep. You
do
get
I?
since there is no resistance, you
Yeah.
basically get to see the memory.
Yeah. Okay, so I see in the beginning there's Jack. Definitely recognize this La Zombra fucking attitude anywhere. And let's go. Oh.
I'm still here, just so you know.
Yeah. Oh, this. Does it feel like the presence I saw?
To a certain extent, it feels more. It feels clearer, in a way. And most of all, it feels immense. Like there's too much to see, really. And so you end up seeing nothing. That's the general vibe that you get.
Okay. Well, there was definitely someone here. Probably old, powerful. Something grabbed it, and yeah. So Jack, Kian stopped us today on the way. Rourke wanted to have a chat. Tried recruiting me.
Mm-hmm. Fat fucking chance.
Yes, his whole shtick was that he claimed that Cecil is still alive. Claiming that he's now on their side. Frankly, what he doesn't know is that, well, what he technically, given Delmont's spies and all, should have known. If I said I want to join the Camarillas, Cecil would go with me. If I said I want to join the Anarchs, we would go. If I said I want to defect from the Sword, we would go. That's his fucking mistake. But I feel that there was somebody here who was trying to create this, how to say, this illusion. Because I searched for Cecil now and I couldn't find him. And let's just say, if whatever he was saying today to me was part of a greater plan, and given what I see here, and supposedly if what Virgil says is true and Vorsd is dead, and they're looking for another person to build on Vorsd and to be their Malkavian, which is why they're targeting me for recruitment.
Why
They know I'm not.
Malkavian?
It's a hunch. The network is still quiet after what I did. Like, but it's not quiet, like I tried reaching out to someone. It's more
just
like
the Abyss doesn't
it's
give
too
you the
loud. It's too loud. It's like it's too loud. Like shouting in a club to the opposite end. Anyway, I'll fill you in more later. I'm going to gather some other bits and we're gonna head back. And I'm gonna go check on Larry, how he's doing. And I'll fill you guys in later.
By the way, Freya will help us.
Again, let's talk about all of that
Mhm.
later. Let's talk
Mhm.
about all of that later. And you see Serena tapping her head and then just standing up and starting to gathering her things.
If you look at the camera feeds from Jack, you see Galician mass of black doing something akin to the fucking nod.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I knew you guys don't get reflections, but I figured that perhaps it doesn't apply to phones since they don't really have mirrors inside.
I suppose you will never see your fucking face. God took it fucking personally.
I suppose. Either way, we're gonna head back, but be careful.
I have
Rourke
Abel
said,
with
see
me.
you soon. And Serena basically starts heading towards the sewers.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone else join?
Jim, probably?
Oh, Jim will.
Okay.
See
Uh,
around. I won't have proper connection down there.
do you wait for Larry before you go?
No, we're gonna like go down and like listen in.
Okay, well, you go down, and in the distance, you can sometimes hear an echo of, heavy footsteps. Here and there, you hear like sort of like the sound of stone hitting each other, and then Larry's voice going like, as he's a huge creature moving through the sewers. Wings don't really help you move through tunnels very well. And yeah, that's basically all you hear, really. No signs of the Vajt.
Serena whistles and listens then very carefully.
Larry, you hear a whistle.
I fucking stop. There you go.
Beastie, beastie, beastie.
The fuck you doing?
Calling is a wash to me.
I'm in the way.
Get into the wall if you hear something.
Do I hear something? I don't hear no thing.
It must really be that. Okay, well, we should better get out of here and reconvene with the guys and let them know of everything what happened.
I can go further in and investigate.
Okay, but just be careful and also fuck off at any moment. We already had one. On the other hand, no, we'll wait for you. Look, we've had already unexpected guests once today.
I'll be quick.
Okay.
And I fuck off into the distance.
All right. And we'll deal with that in private chat. The rest of you begin to move away. And as I deal with this separate issue, you begin making it back to the Haven. You can speak on the way and decide to arrive whenever you decide to arrive.
Well, we're waiting for Larry to come out safely.
Oh, that might actually take a bit. That's fine. In that case, Larry, we'll roleplay the scene with you then. So, please, what do you do?
Well, the skin of the chameleon is in effect for the entirety of the scene, and since I took flight, I think it's in effect still, so I will, take the color of the surroundings as much as I can,
Mm-hmm.
activate my night vision
All right.
with the protein.
So you close your eyes and focus for a moment, and when you open, you see your surroundings very clearly, but in a single color. All of it is very monochrome. It has this red hue. In addition, you can tell that as you activate it, the area just in front of you is slightly illuminated by the light that now shines from your eyes.
Yeah. Well, you gotta take a risk. So I will proceed going further into the sewers.
Yep. You move forward. It's a bit of a slog. As you proceed, the activity of the tunnels increases slightly. There's more rushing black water, and you find more, chambers that are supposed to not filter the water, but group up several, incoming tunnels of sewage, and then spill them all into one larger tunnel. And as you go through the sewers, eventually, you hear this general sound of buzzing, like a large group of flies, and you hear pitter patter. And as you follow the noise very carefully, eventually you turn a corner into one of these large chambers, and half slumped into the water is essentially the top half of the Void, non-moving, with vermin and scavengers all over it. It's essentially a feast for them. It's rotting, and whatever bits of it you can still make out are heavily damaged.
Can I distinguish, like, what has it been hit with?
Wits investigation, please. Actually, int investigation.
Five successes.
Oh, there we go. So you notice that there are a few cuts on it. You'd wager by the shape of them and the number of them, the way they're like going across it. They were done by claws. In a fairly large shape. So you'd wager, like, if you put your hand over it, your hand's a bit too big, but a little smaller than your hand, and you have like the perfect pattern for these claws. You also see that chunks of the creature were essentially ripped off of it. You know this because it's a move that you've employed in the past. And you know what the fuck that looks like. This is it. You eventually find the head of the creature, or what little is left of it. You only find the bottom jaw. It seems the top half of the head was, well, it's missing. It was either crushed or ripped from the creature. But all of the creature is covered in damage. There's very few bits of the creature that are not, destroyed nearly beyond recognition.
I will stumble, like, through, look for any parts that might be not of its own, if there are any. Maybe I will stick my hand into the remains of its jaw and throat and try to get something out. Maybe it has eaten something. We can't hear you.
Apologies. You try to search around. You see nothing obvious. Then you try to reach into the creature with your arm almost all the way in. You even have to like pull the creature a bit more to land so you can actually really get in there and try to find it. The anatomy past the mouth is weird. Like, it doesn't really make sense immediately. And as you search, eventually you feel something that does not feel like flesh. Feels more metallic.
Grab it.
Hmm?
I'll grab it
Yep.
and
You grab it and you begin to
pick it up.
tug at it. It takes a bit of finagling, but eventually you manage to dislodge it. And you pull back to find, first, your arm covered in viscera. And second, that this piece, about this big, seems like the tip of a bladed implement that seems to have broken off from its original weapon.
That will do. I'll look at it one last time, look around, and head off.
Serena, Jim, you eventually hear a few stomps, along with some slopping noises as Larry sort of does this to like shake off the viscera from his arm. And eventually from the darkness you see a pair of red lights approaching you.
It has died.
Oh, I should touch the corpse. See how it perished.
No need to. I've got this thing over here.
And Serena takes it and concentrates and uses Spirit's Touch on it.
You may roll for it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
All right. So as you touch the metal and feel it in your hand, you focus on it, and for a few split seconds, you see Kian's face. You get this feeling, like this strong emotion attached to the object. Emotions of a mix of guilt and exhilaration from the battle. You sense flashes of memories of the axe entering the beast and the beast struggling against Kian, and eventually there's one hit where the axe hits the beast's jaw. And at that point, Kian reaches his hand back, claws come out of his hand, and he, with one hit, while the creature is struggling, he slices forward. And he rips the top of the creature's jaw off, but slices off this bit of metal from his own axe in the process.
Kian.
And that's the strongest memories and emotions connected to it.
Well then, I'm pretty sure we can... If they actually had Cecil on their side, considering that Roark wanted his beasties, I doubt they would have to kill it. They killed it so that I wouldn't be able to control it. Which means most likely they don't know how to actually deal with one of these. Right then. Let's get the fuck out of here. Bullshit as usual from their side. And then they wonder why nobody wants to listen. Let's head back. Larry, make sure to like
Yes,
fly some zigzags just in case. You know,
of course.
basically make your ways into the haven always unnoticed. Like I reiterate again, but don't arrive directly there. I do have other options, but you know, we need to clean up also this place. Well, the house, since it's in Jack's, but I'll talk with him. For now, let's get out. And as Serena goes up, she basically calls, sent a text to Jack. That says that we should clear up the house from any bodily fluids and whatsoever, since it's in your name. And also, we should move the rest of our belongings. Have Leo maybe move it, move the item several times during the day. From storage unit to storage unit to obfuscate the trail. And as we like basically get back up, Serena turns to Jim and says, we'll drop by on the way to my ghoul. It would be good for you to meet him too. And just check on something, okay?
Okay.
And she tells that to Larry too, that's what she'll be doing. He could head out back to, like the Haven.
All right.
Jack replies to Serena, let's not move it to new apartment till Top Hat flies.
And actually, Serena wants to visit a place that she owns.
Which one?
But maybe like the Paranormal Research Center.
By yourself, or are you taking the pack with you?
Let's say I'm gonna let's say I'm first gonna drop by the ghoul, and then I'm gonna say that we meet there at the Paranormal Research Center.
Okay.
Like,
So we'll handle the scene with the ghoul privately on chat. The rest of you, anyone delaying their arrival to the research center? No? Okay.
Alright.
Then
Abel
most
and
of
I
you-
are probably just doing jack shit at New Haven.
Okay, well, as all of you begin to move towards the haven, or the research center, excuse me.
the rebellion of machines.
The rebellion of the machine, yeah.
A glorious evolution.
AI is taking over.
ChatGPT.
Have you commenced a glorious evolution?
I flipped the Roomba upside down. So, as I was saying,
Omnisci would be unhappy.
as you make your way to the research center, the building itself looks more like a fairly small library slash lab. It's sort of this scientific institution-ish dedicated to, as you can gather, the research of the paranormal, but all of it screams skepticism to some extent. The building seems to be dedicated to a man by the name of James Randi. And as you observe the building, Larry remains hidden in rooftops, but the three of you meet up and you may converse as needed.
I was thinking, obviously, maybe the guy already, left town. Then again, I haven't really actually bothered him ever since the whole Mariposa incident, so...
You're talking about the
The
guys
changeling.
you make me see. Yep.
Yeah, well, I figured that perhaps... Maybe he'll have some useful things. I
I'm
mean,
curious to his reaction to me now.
Well, here's the thing, because I because I do want to see if he has some things he can aid us with. If he's there, I'd rather not like overwhelm him with the, you know, with our presence. So, when I get into the library where he usually hangs out, keep a bit further away from him, okay? No need to threaten him. You don't really need any extra enemies now.
Sure.
But you feel welcome to explore the building. Maybe you will find something else interesting. I own it, so just say that you're from the owner. Okay?
Do we use your current name, previous name, fake name?
I'm pretty sure I was registered here as Serena Moore. Or something along the line. Yeah, Miss Moore. Right then. Otherwise, have a look at the Paranormal Research Center. Maybe they're gonna have something interesting here. And Serena goes in and she heads to the and she heads to the what's it called? And she heads toward the library.
All right. Serena, as you enter the library, it's the same small library as you remember. And looking around, you eventually see the same man that you saw last time. Only this time, he sits. He seems to be in a very plain suit, unlike his usual self. He simply sits there, looking at the floor.
She walks up to him.
Apologies,
Are
miss.
you?
How can I help you?
You look different.
Do we know each other?
What was his name, by the way?
You don't remember. You never asked.
Uh, Well, you see, you've given me quite an interesting book, and before you've had a problem with a lady who's no longer around.
It's you. Look,
Yeah.
just go away. He sits back down and...
I'm not here to cause trouble. I was just wondering if you had...
You've already caused it.
What did I do? I thought we agreed that I'm going to take care of your little problem.
He sort of looks behind you, examines the area around. And as he does...
Serena just looks to him and says, "We can always talk here."
Well, as he looks around and, doesn't seem to see anyone watching you particularly well, he begins taking off his glove. And after taking it off, you notice that his hand, his nails specifically, are pitch black, long, and sort of curved like a crow's. he shows you the hand and says, "Ever since your buddies made me one of you, I can't hide this shit anymore. And it's
Wait.
all your fault.
Wait, we didn't.
I don't care.
Serena walks.
I don't care. Just
Wait.
leave me alone." And he begins putting the glove back on.
No. You were. Serena walks up. You were embraced?
Yeah.
Who did it?
Some crazy fuck.
Name?
I don't know. I'm. As far as I know, he was part of some fucking revolution, but he never
Right.
actually came back to me about this. So I've been cursed with these fucking shouts in my head constantly.
Out.
And all I can do is just hope for the best. And it's all your fault,
Wait.
so please just fucking go.
How is it my fault? It wasn't any of my buddies.
Look, I don't care. This whole shit happened because
I'm
I
going
didn't
to-
have
I'm go-
anyone prprotecting me. And the person that
Okay.
was protecting me is gone because I told her information I shouldn't.
Look, I honestly expected to come here and see you gone.
Well, I
From
am gone. Okay? Just leave.
Do you want revenge?
Whatever, I don't care anymore.
It's in your head.
Hmm?
You have shouting in your head.
Well, not right now.
Has it been quiet since for about a week?
As far as I can tell.
Well, then whoever turned you was one of my clan.
Yippee.
Well, EEP, because you probably also have some derangement, but that, and she points to your hand, that's probably from what you were before.
Yeah, I know. I used to be able to hide it, now I can't. Now I have to wear these fucking gloves.
I could probably try to undo it.
Do not fucking touch me.
Okay.
Just get the hell out of the library, okay? You may own the place, but you don't own me.
I don't own you, but also I'm older and more powerful and I can tell you to get the fuck out of my domain. But I'm not going to. I came here to talk. Because you had a library, but given your change... given your change... Do you even have access to that anymore? Probably not.
To what?
Huh?
Access to what?
Well, remember you gave me like a nice book about lupines? I actually came to ask you if you had anything about the fucking Shadowlands.
They're all gone.
What happened?
Whoever decided to give me this wonderful gift apparently decided to take those books as payment. My private collection is all gone.
Do you remember their face?
No.
Well, if you want to get your private collection back, and if you want to get some revenge, I could aid you with that.
No, thank you. The farther I am
Probably
from
can-
you, the better. In fact, since you're returning, and apparently you're gonna have some business here, I
no, I actually came to have a chat with you.
Why?
And well,
Didn't you fuck me up enough?
It didn't fuck you up. If you needed protection afterwards, you should have said so.
Right.
I could have fucking provided it.
Right.
Given the fact that
I could use protection from the person who threatened my life.
Who threatened your life? Cool, I can treasure it some more, but I don't think I'm gonna fight with myself.
I don't care anymore.
Hmm. Serena's going to walk out and like go look for Abel.
Mm-hmm. As you walk away, the guy just slumps back and continues looking to the floor.
Goes up and looks around for Abel.
Um, Abel, what would you be doing in this library?
I would be coming up from the cellar in the haven.
All right.
So once Serena finds him, she's like, "Hey, remember the changeling?"
Ah, yes. He,
Yeah.
the
So
one with the allergy.
yes. So apparently, somebody from my clan decided to embrace him. Somebody was a glorious revolution, so I assume it's an anarch. But the guy's pretty depressed right now, and also stole his personal library collection, which I wanted to see if he's like has anything on Shadowlands. But the guy seems pretty depressed. And out of it. Now I know he's was probably turned by Malkavian because whatever, like, he has access to this whole thing. Maybe that's how changelings are turned. I don't know. Either way, I tried reasoning with him, but I'm not capable of, like, I guess he's lost himself, but I've lost something else. I mean, sort of the same, but I figured perhaps you would have the right touch to talk with him. Either way, I also figure that could be something someone you might be interested in. In either way, he is sort of like in a whole Isaac situation right now. Seem to be right up your valley, you know.
Oh, yes, I suppose I could have a talk with him. No
Because,
promises, though.
well, basically just leaves the door open for him. Mm, I want to know who turned him, and if it's in any way our enemies, and what kind of things they could have gotten their hands on. Because some of Jack's books got stolen too, and they're trying to set it up as if Cecil's still alive, but a load of fucking bullshit. So, um, yeah, if he got embraced by Mulcavian, he might have, I guess, depression right now, given his outfit. So, yeah. Maybe try your magic. I'm going to go outside and have a cigarette.
All right. Do you have to do you remember his name?
You know, we never got around to that since he was always sassing at me, and I was sassing back.
Oh, good place to start then.
Yeah. Go on. I believe in you. And Serena does a clap on his, you know.
So Abel will proceed into the library and
Mm-hmm.
see if the unfortunate soul is there sulking.
Yep. He is in the same place. Again, looking at the ground, wearing a very plain suit, these very thick gloves. And he sees her approach, stands up, and says, "Hello, sir. How may I assist you?"
Hello. I heard that you were going through some rough times, and I wondered whether you would like to talk about it, and
Are you with her?
well,
Yeah, okay.
technically, yes.
How about this? You lot need to leave me alone. Every time.
Well,
Every time I interact with one of you. Every single fucking time.
well, as far as I understand, you can't escape this now. And you will need to make some choices. We are here, we are extending a hand. And I don't mind if your hand is gloved or not.
Look, if you knew the shit I lost just so one of you could have a fun night out and have some fucking reading material. If you knew the amount of bullshit I had to deal with since I lost what I was. If you only knew what just vanished, maybe then you'd understand why I want nothing to do with you. But I don't think you
Well,
ever will understand.
you can always try and tell me. I mean, it will help.
Were you alive during the moon landing? I assume you were.
I do recall it.
World was interesting back then. It was a big victory for everybody. People were bursting with creativity, dreams, fantastic things running through their minds all the time. That was my existence for the longest time. And I began working here, hoping to capture some of that imagination. I mean, this whole place was designed to crush dreams of people who still have them. Those people came here, and I would motivate them to keep dreaming, to keep believing they can achieve things they probably can't, but who cares? They would at some point be able to realize that the world is far more fantastical than they could ever hope for. I was making people feel amazing, and I was feeling amazing because of it. Then your friend buys the place, threatens me to give everything up, and then one of her clan decides to waltz in, kill me, take all of that from me, curse me forever. And all I got to show for it is the fact that that bitch once in a while will now show up and bother me when I just want to be left alone. Does this make it clear enough?
I know.
No, you don't.
I know.
You don't
Well,
know.
I don't know completely how you experienced those things. If it was a physical experience, or maybe it was just the experience of having those people dream in front of your eyes. But I've known loss as well. Maybe something that you haven't experienced. A different kind of loss. However, I mean, sitting here sulking, just grieving over what you've lost will not bring it back. I mean, if you want to make people dream, you still can. It might not be the same.
You don't get
But-
it. I mean, how could you?
Yes.
I mean, you might.
Maybe
To
one
some
day I will.
extent. You might, to some extent, relate to aspects of it. But the full picture, that's never going to be something that crosses your mind. And the worst part of it is, this is the worst part. Since this shit happened, slowly, I'm forgetting everything from before. Everything. I barely remember what it's like to... Look, just leave me alone. Okay?
I will be back. Just to talk to you.
I
I
don't
won't
doubt
be
it.
expecting. I won't be expecting anything from you, but I'm just saying. If your whole existence has been about making people dream, maybe it's now time for you to do the same for yourself, Just find a new reason. Think big, I guess. You will have all the time in the world.
Pretty much the only thing I got.
Mm.
Well, I've said my piece.
Yes, you have.
Are there still any books left there?
Just the ones you see here. Dream was skeptic crap.
Do I see any books that I recognize? Are these just like some sort of, are they all like occult books, or are
So
they of any genre?
most of these are you recognize a few and you can sort of understand the vibe of the volumes here. All of these are books and studies on the supernatural. But the books you recognize, you know specifically that they're studies from the perspective of science, explaining why these things aren't real, not from the perspective of this might happen. They're always from the perspective of here's how you disprove this scientifically.
Okay. Weird kink. Uh, so there wouldn't be any children's books lying around.
No, not really.
Okay. I'll just leave.
Mm-hmm. In the meantime, while all of this has been going on, Jack, Larry, and Jim, what have you been up to?
I've searched a bit around the place and messaged Serena
All right.
about my findings.
Mm-hmm. Larry, Jim.
Basically strolling around.
Jim, you can roll me just a quick wits crafts. Larry, what have you been up to?
From my point of view, like, is there any reason for me to be searching? If not, Then I will just be on a lookout. You know.
Not really. No. Well, I'll tell you what. You can roll me very quickly perception alertness at
Mm-hmm.
fairly high difficulty.
Okay.
And I'll get to you in just a second. So, Jim, as you're strolling around, you eventually pass this area where you theorize that during the day the area is used as sort of a place where demonstrations are made and where talks are given. There's a couple of entrances to different, not studios, but sort of theaters. And eventually you walk around and find this worker at the foundation. She seems to be moving a box of files, walking with a purpose in a specific direction. And as she passes you by, you almost catch a smell of a skin cream you recognize. And she looks like a prime candidate for your interests.
So Jim will take a closer look. Will basically inspect the victim, possible victim.
To the extent that you can inspect them, the woman is slightly overweight, but not too much. She is clearly, her hair, her skin, all of it is very well taken care of. She definitely, cares about what she looks like and her health. And as she carries these files, you notice that despite being slightly overweight, it's not that she gained or lost any weight very quickly. This seems to be like a stable weight for her, which sort of gives you the indication that whatever material you acquire, should you want it, it'll serve you for quite a while. Let's say that.
Oh, Jim ponders a little bit and he thinks if he'll manage to abduct this person here, how dangerous would it be, or would he need to plan a little bit ahead and use his charm instead?
Well, you may roll int subterfuge. Okay. You would know that going for the abduction right away might be a bad idea. That said, you could definitely begin gathering some idea of what her general situation is in regards to family, friends, where she would be looked for, what her schedules are. Definitely getting an idea of that first will help you make sure that, once you do capture you won't be found with what you collected.
Well, I'll approach the woman and greet her.
As she's walking, in the middle of work, she stops for a moment as you greet her. Hello, sir. Can I help you?
Hello, yes, I've been searching around for books related to, well, something related to tailoring. I need new ideas, and maybe you could help me. Something that could help me work on a different, well, you know.
Well, the library is right there, sir, but I think you might be in the wrong building.
Oh, so it's not a library. Because I was kind of directed here by my friends. Well, sorry, I'm kind of new here. I'm from New York myself.
It's okay, sir. I believe there's a tailoring store that is just down the street. They're only open in the mornings, but they have really good materials, and they do have a few books with, well, magazines really with tips and tricks. It's a bit of a hobby myself. Uh, you should um look to that store in the morning. Uh, I don't think you'll find anything that interests you here.
Hmm. Well, I guess I do. I will have to wait for a morning, but it will take some time. Yes, I need to find at least someone who could keep me company for until morning.
Sorry,
So,
sir.
what are you up to?
I'm not sure I'm understanding what you're saying.
Serena would be looking for Jim.
How is the abduction going?
Well, Jim will use his presence or to
Okay.
losing the situation.
Okay. You may make the roll. And additionally, I'm going to roll something in the background. Hold on.
One willpower using blood point. I think one blood point.
If you blood buff,
Blood buff.
it's 1 point, but you can only blood buff physical properties.
One moment. Oh, not bad.
Okay, so you sort of, it's almost like flexing a muscle. You focus and you begin sort of radiating this aura. And at first she was mostly trying to like walk past you almost. But as you focus and use this power, immediately her attention is almost drawn entirely to you. And as she does at this point have a good look at you, she says, "Well, I can't really keep you company, sir. Um, I'll probably be free on Saturday."
Oh, shucks. Well, the thing is that I'll have to leave pretty soon. It kind of would be a
Does
shame
Serena
to
find Jim?
leave
Let
such
the
a
scene
nice
play.
woman here.
As you say this, she giggles and says, "Well, maybe on Saturday, stop by."
I see.
And
Saturday it is then.
she nods, walks past you, and as she walks past you, she winks at you.
And I smile back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, Serena. How was your business?
You
Serena
can't hear you.
looks at the
Oh,
work, almost completed. Serena looks at the walking away lady. Had a nice chat.
Yeah. You've seen those materials, right?
What, but Jim, this is a building I own. No pouching.
Well, is it your ghoul?
It's my domain. Capiche? It's mine.
Well, we can discuss it later.
No poaching.
Maybe we'll go through a compromise.
A compromise is I don't need such shit on my property.
Well, it's will kind of be a shame because I do have some ideas that could also. I'm not only doing it to say to my own.
I get it, but I'm pretty sure there's plenty of walking material around at this Hollywood.
Well,
You
that's
know?
it's a rare case of material you've seen here.
We'll talk later. Go meet the guys outside. But overall, and she moves in. As you pack, priest, let me advise you. We might be Sabbat, but we don't shit where we sleep. Capiche?
Well,
I don't grab my subjects from somewhere where I manage. I grab them from away. You'll tell me what you need later, but for now I just need to drop by to the guest and then we'll be done. Meet us outside. And Serena basically goes down to the, goes down to the, uh, to where the changeling was. And since she was like listening in to some of like the conversation, she drops in, does a knock knock.
Well, that's in a like the library, which I mean, it's not huge, but it's big enough.
Let's just so that you can switch to Larry, and then we can do the ending.
Okay. Well,
It's a short convo. It's
sure.
basically
You knock on the wood of the the bookshelf of in the library, and the guy, his gaze sort of goes up, and as soon as he sees your face, he gives a deep sigh and says, "What?"
Look, I've heard about your memory loss problem, and I do have a technique that, well, I don't know, like your exact
I
situation.
don't need anything that you give me, okay? Just
look,
go
it
away.
can bring back even that which is lost to memory. It's
I
as
don't
long as you
care.
remember how it felt.
I
Look,
don't
it's on
care.
the table. It's on the table, okay? And
Look, whatever the fuck.
and wait. So here's the thing. And you sure you don't remember anything about the person who got to you?
No, I don't.
And Um, I'm going to attempt telepathy
Mm-hmm.
on him. Like
Which
nothing.
I believe it works off of the emotion they are currently feeling, right?
Oh, no. I'm doing telepathy. I'm not doing psychomemoria.
Oh, okay.
Not doing psychomemoria because that's gonna be very
So just flat
obvious.
out telepathy. Got it.
Yeah, because he's like what? He's a fresh embrace.
Mm-hmm.
So
Um.
nothing.
Yeah, I don't think you even have to roll for this.
Okay. So I'm
You
just like,
you push into his mind, and all you see him thinking about. First, the dominant thought is he really, really, really doesn't want to be talking to you. You're like the last person he wants to see right now. The second thing is you ask about his sire who embraced him. All he remembers is being in this room, looking at the mirror, and just feeling absolute resentment for what he is. That's the main thought that appears.
well, look, and well, sadly, this thing that I know it's also only that I can do to somebody else. I can't like bring my own memory, so I can't really teach it to you. But there is a thing that you'll be able to do, which is sort of like dreams, visions.
Okay.
So
I'll try to
just
make this as
think.
clear as possible. I don't want your help. If this is your domain and you truly do not want me to act how the fuck I want to act, then I will gladly leave. But I don't want your help. Okay?
If you do, well, granted that the network is quiet right now, you won't be able to send the help out, so here's a number. It's gonna work only once, but you do give a ring. We all lost a lot. I'm not the only one depressed here. Anyway,
Sure.
I don't have time for this right now. And basically, Serena drops all of her, like, like the usual, like, act that she has around others. Basically, like, like, just like dropping the mask that she has about, like, the grief and whatever. So, if you want to mope about, I got plenty to mope about too. But if you need whatever, either way, don't particularly care. I've got my own revenge to dish out for the things I've lost. But here you go.
Sure.
You can stay here, I don't care. Just don't leave any fucking bodies. And
I'm
Serena
not
basically
like
leaves.
you.
You know shit nothing about me. And Serena leaves.
Mm-hmm. And as Serena leaves, we cut to Larry. With that roll, Larry, as you're keeping watch,
I see everything.
basically, yeah. So as you're keeping watch, you basically remain incredibly still, almost pretending to be a decoration on top of the building. You spot people passing by, and eventually you catch a glimpse of something just out of the corner of your eye above. As you slowly turn your head to make sure you understand what it is, you see a very faint and blurry shape of a gargoyle flying overhead and searching for something.
We in Hollywood.
No,
No.
Where are we? Wait.
we're in Sabbat territory or
Oh
neutral.
shit. That boy about to get fucked up. Uh, yeah, in a way, I'll let this bitch fuck off without questioning. I'ma fly up.
Okay.
Yep.
You take a few steps back so you're out of sight of the people below, and making sure no one sees
Armor, close.
you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, hold the shit.
You beat your wings and off you go into the sky. And after you begin approaching, the gargoyle seems to slow down.
I'll get into the point, like the distance where we can speak somewhat discreetly so that people wouldn't hear us.
The gargoyle, with all the noise that's rushing by, it's really hard to listen to things. So the gargoyle just points to a nearby building with sort of an antenna built out of thick, metal, a thick metal structure, and begins to fly towards it, and eventually lands on it, grabbing it with one hand and sustaining its weight with both legs.
Yep, I'll follow.
Mm-hmm. And after landing, the gargoyle sort of shakes off the camouflage that gargoyles are capable of having. I mean, you've been using it for most of this time. And as it shakes this camouflage off, the stone begins to gray again. And you recognize this gargoyle as the one who was speaking with Larry. It looks to you and says, "Finally fucking found you."
My number.
Yeah, we couldn't really risk it.
What's up?
Boss has a message for you. Again,
Here.
we don't work together. This is more out of respect. Someone's been raiding the fucking sewers, looking for someone who we suspect was you.
When?
Recently. And among them were Tremere.
So the tower isn't letting go?
Did they ever? They've been looking for us the entire time. It just so happens that they seem to suspect that you're not with us. So,
Fair assumption.
yeah, so they're trying to find you. Which means probably won't be long until they see you. I don't know how the fuck you allowed them to figure this out, but if we get the inkling that you might be captured and that you might compromise our operations, I mean, blood is blood, man, but you gotta go, you gotta go. Understood?
I would rather screw my own head off than give off any information about you.
Good. Good. Because if that wasn't the case, we'd have to screw it off for you.
If I don't manage, I'll gladly take it.
Good. In the meantime, he seems to reach into some of the clothes that he's wearing, these really stretched jackets and shirts, and he reaches into one of the pockets, and after searching for a bit, takes out a folded piece of paper. Larry said to give this to you, your eyes only. I don't know what the fuck is in there, but, seems to be important. And as you open it, the gargoyle just lets go of the metal railing, lets itself fall, and with the wings opening and sort of this camouflage taking over the entire shape, it flies off. You open the sheet of paper, to find a message. It's not so much a letter as it is a series of coordinates. It seems to be 3 different locations, and you get like actual like coordinates to look on a map.
I'll look it up.
Looking at it on your phone, you are given the location of a theater in Hollywood. You're given the location of a theater in downtown, and you're given the location of a cinema theater in East LA.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
I'll pocket the paper and fly off back.
Mm-hmm. And as you do, we will end tonight's session. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.